Hi, I'm Jose Silva and I wanted to share this watercolor collection that I've been working on that I'm calling Death and Rebirth. And I wanted to talk a little bit about my process and the concept of death and rebirth and have some conversations about it. It started with this black watercolor paper that I found online, and the minute I started experimenting with it, I realized that I wanted to paint some skulls. But I wanted to put more meaning behind it and make it more personal to me. I had also been wanting to do something with snakes. I like the symbolism of rebirth and shedding old skins. And I have been doing a lot of work on myself this last year and trying to release old ways of thinking and old habits and unhealthy relationships. And so this made it personal to me. And mixing this idea with the skulls using the black watercolor paper, it felt like it was the beginning of a concept. And I started thinking about other symbols that would complement the idea of rebirth. And I thought about crows, because I love crows and I've been painting crows for a while. And I thought about how they feed on the dead and how in a way that creates more life. And I also thought about moths because I thought that that would also complement the idea of transformation and rebirth. I worked on these three simultaneously. I drew them all out first, and then I did the first layer of white on all of them. Then I did the gold in all of them. Then I went back and did some more white on top. And that was cool because it allowed for one to dry while I worked on the other one. And also it made it so that they matched better because I wanted to have about the same amount of golds on each one, and I wanted the white to have the same density on each one and have them all be similarly sized. And so this made it easier for me to keep an eye on that and make sure that they all were consistent. I also love writing, so I wrote a little bit about each one on my Instagram, and I wrote about how there needs to be death for a rebirth, and how it's a natural process that cannot be rushed or resisted, and about trusting divine timing, just how the snake knows when it's time to release its old skin, and just how the caterpillar knows when to transform into a moth. It's a natural process. I think it's important to try to find love and acceptance and gratitude and compassion for the parts of yourself that you're trying to release so that you may have a more healthy and sustainable rebirth, which I know it's easier said than done. That's kind of where I'm at. But I think it gets a point where you look back on who you were and you almost don't even recognize that person anymore. And you feel like you couldn't go back to that even if you tried. It's not even an option anymore. And I think that's when you know that you've been reborn and that you have experienced death and rebirth. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I love sharing my art and getting into these conversations. I made another video for my Bears and Moons collection where I talk about self-awareness and listening to your inner voice and self-expression. And I have a lot more videos and a lot more to come. So if you're enjoying them, please go ahead and subscribe. That means the world to me. And thank you so much for watching.